Welcome, everyone, to It Tastes Different Gaming Appetizers. And tonight, we're going to talk about something that's not really appetizer size. We're going to talk about something that costs $1,500. And that's the Meta Pro. So basically, the MetaQuest Pro finally has gotten its price reveal. And it's coming out at $1,500. I don't know what to think, to be honest with you, on this. Mark Zuckerberg is losing his ass on Metaverse, and I don't know where this is coming from. I mean, they think that people are going to buy this technology, I guess. I don't know. I mean, I don't see where this has a cost benefit. So it's supposed to, they're basically touting that it's a high resolution sensor that lets people see mixed virtual reality and augmented reality in full color. So basically, it's just going to basically present you what you can see on the outside to the cameras on the inside. It's supposed to have, full color, supposed to have eye tracking, natural facial expression. So when you smile in the King, it's going to smile your VR avatar. Come on, guys. That's what we all want. I guess might help if somebody's stroking out in one of these headsets. Everybody else around them can see that they're stroking out and start drooping or something. I don't know. I don't get this. It's a virtual reality device. I mean, it's for entertainment purposes mostly. I know they're trying to get this whole thing into workspace VR, but I'm not wearing a VR mask while I'm working. Sorry, it's not going to happen. VR headsets give me a headache after a little bit of time anyway, and not to mention that they're big and bulky and they're heavy and things like that. There's been a few times in my life where I almost purchased the Valve Index, which is what I would consider the pinnacle of VR gaming headsets today, but I can't see purchasing anything like this for $1,500. I mean, I'm not spending that on a game console. I'm not spending that on anything, peripherals, any of that. And yet this here is supposed to be worth it. So we'll kind of go around the room and see if anybody else thinks it's worth it. Because VR, in my opinion, VR has nothing that's going to drive a $1,500 price tag, in my opinion. But Shane, are you ready to buy the MetaQuest Pro for $1,500? Are you ready to give me that credit card today?
Oh, I got a credit card I'll give you. I got a couple, actually. Yeah, and they're worth about as much as that $1,500 headset. No. You know why I have a Quest 2 and a PlayStation VR? Because they're affordable and they've got games. I'm not paying, was that 8 times the price of a Oculus Quest 2 to be able to work and to virtually sit at my desk? No. Am I going to do it to virtually be on Facebook? No. Am I going to do it to play Vader Immortal in 4K with, built-in rectal probes? Hells no. I mean, you already said it. I mean, Zuckerberg is losing his butt. I believe before we started recording, you said he was down like 60 billion or 70 billion. And one, that shouldn't even be a reality of something you should say a man lost $70 billion. It's not. I cannot fathom for any reason this device for consumer use, regular consumer use. They use VR for like surgical procedures and stuff. They have this whole thing. Plus they use it for training for various things. But you're talking high end stuff like this. There's no way this is consumer friendly, because of the price alone. How much was the Valve Index? Last was like $1,000.
It's $1,000 if you get it with the headset, the 2 controllers, and the 2 sensors. You can get it with just the headset for $500. I think we were chatting earlier, and then if you get it with the headset and the 2 controllers, it's $700, $750 or something like that. So it's $1,000 if you want the 2 sensors to go along with it.
So right now that's the pinnacle of the VR experience. And this group here, we did a VR thing at our local bowling alley for a party we went to. We had a fun time, but I bet those headsets that we used weren't $1,500 a pop. I mean, the whole system that they had was probably, very expensive, but the VR headsets alone, they probably weren't $1,500 a pop. It's a nutty announcement, and even the videos they were showing have already been called out for BS. I mean, the video showing them jumping, turned out that was all motion capture. That wasn't the system working, from an article I read. So it's nuts. I don't want to see these two in VR. I don't even want to see them on camera. But I don't see any use for this thing unless it has the most absolutely mind-boggling, amazing game ever for that price that just you would slap your own child just to play it. That's how great this thing would have to be. I mean, plus, does it get rid of motion sickness? That is the key thing. Nick gets it, I'm pretty sure. I definitely get it on certain games. The whole motion sickness thing. The last one I did where I almost threw up on my TV, the cat, the dog, the house was Star Wars Rogue Squadron on VR. I was like, all right, let me try this one, son. Nope, take it off. So $1,500, it better get rid of all of the problems that VR has for everybody. So that's just an asinine price. And that product, I cannot fathom in any way it would be worth it whatsoever. So I'm done complaining and ranting, and Zuckerberg can suck it. So what about you, Nick?
Well, Mark Zuckerberg is really trying to push that metaverse, isn't he? Trying to push it into the stratosphere with this headset. I mean, more than likely, this headset is just a push further into the metaverse, or the attempt to push it further into the metaverse, right? I mean, the problem is Meta has, Mark Zuckerberg and Meta alone has put so much money into this metaverse that they've kind of dug themselves into a hole that they can't get out of, right? They're so far down that it's like, it's better to go ahead and keep digging than to try to back out of it, right? And so we're just going to keep pushing this stuff that we think is going to be good. I mean, I'm sorry, Mark Zuckerberg, but the metaverse is not going to turn out it already hasn't, and it's not going to turn out to be what you think it's going to be or what you're hoping it's going to be. The idea of thinking this is the next business venture for you, past Facebook and stuff, the metaverse is not, people don't want this, right? We're not, maybe in the future, possibly. Okay, at some point in time, but we ain't there yet, right? I mean, they said basically, like, in this article, they're saying that basically this is Meta is positioning the new Meta Quest Pro headset as an alternative to using a laptop. Who the hell, when you're using a computer, would want to instead strap a VR headset on and do a Word document or something like that? I mean, seriously, you don't want to. You want to have a laptop so you can step away, and you don't want to go into a virtual world and have to do all your work from a virtual headset. You just don't want to have to do that. That's very inconvenient for anybody. And like we've talked about before, like, we've tried VR, we have VR headsets. For me personally, I can only wear a VR headset for so long, and then I am totally done with it and want to take it off my head. I could be on a computer for hours. Right? Hours and hours. I do it daily. Right? That's my job, is be on a computer. But outside of my job, I could be on a computer playing a game or doing stuff for hours. But a VR headset, like, after an hour of having the headset on, I'm ready to take that damn thing off because I don't want it in my head anymore. And I'm, I start getting, my vision gets blurry and start getting dizzy, like Shane said, with the motion sickness and everything, depending on the game and stuff. Like, no, and what you're doing in the metaverse, like, no, I just, and they think about it like virtual meetings where everybody's in the meeting room, right? You see these little avatars, and it's like, okay, cool, but do we need that? The one thing they got to really think about with all this stuff, is there a necessity for it? Are we fixing a problem that we currently have? And the answer is no. We have Teams or Zoom or whatever that does the job perfectly fine. We don't need to all be in a virtual conference room. someone can, if they want to show somebody something, someone can share their screen and show them what exactly you're talking about in applications that we already have today. We don't need a virtual 3D conference room where everyone's a little avatar and they're all talking. It's not, like I said, it seems like Meta, and with the headset and with the metaverse, with this $1,500 headset, are trying to solve a problem that doesn't exist, right? They say, well, you can use it for this and that, and it's supposed to replace this and that. But it's like, but do those things need to be replaced? Are those things broken now and we need a fix for them? And the answer is no. So you're just trying to rewrite what we use today to make to basically push something new that you think the world should, a direction the world should head into, when what we have today works just fine and there's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing broken about it. And it's much cheaper to go out and buy a laptop, depending on the laptop, right, than it is to buy a $1,500 headset. I mean, you can go out and buy a $300 laptop. Sure, that laptop's only going to last you like 6 months to a year, but if you want to get on the internet and talk to somebody on Zoom, then it'll do it, right? So, and it'll bring up a Word document. So, I mean, there's a lot more cheaper options out there, especially when it comes to VR headsets. There's a ton of cheaper options out there. And really the only people that VR really at this point in time has an audience for is gamers, right? I mean, what workplace or blue collar worker is going to go out and buy a Meta Pro that's not a gamer at all, just for the convenient functions of Word and Excel in virtual reality? Like, I just don't understand. I mean, there might be certain jobs where a headset might come into play, possibly. I don't know, because it does have augmented reality, so maybe in that case. But we have other options out there besides Meta, right? They have the HoloLens, which the armies just the military just got from contract with Microsoft to put all those out there, and those are augmented reality headsets, right? And so companies could use those if they're really, I mean, augmented reality for companies is what I could see the future being, but virtual reality, no. So what do you think, Pat?
Like you, I'm at a loss of who this is for, right? Like you mentioned, really the driving force behind VR today is gamers more than anything. I don't know any gamer is going to pay $1,500 for this over a $1,500 laptop. Like a laptop replacement, I could play so much more games on a $1,500 laptop than I'm going to play with this Meta Quest Pro. And in the office, if for it to be usable, you have to buy enough for your whole team. So who's going to spend $1,500 on 4, 5, 6, 10, 20 of these units so their team can be on the metaverse together? Like, that just seems like a bad investment for a company. I don't know where they thinking they're going to recoup this $1,500 from. I mean, we all got to pay for that $70 billion loss that Mark Zuckerberg is suffering this year, of his loss of wealth. I am kind of flabbergasted with the price, and looking at the specs, I'm like, I'm not that impressed with what's going on here. I mean, so what comes in the box is you're supposed to get the MetaQuest Pro headset, 2 MetaQuest Pro controllers, which look like the normal, which look like the new controllers, the adaptive controllers and things like that. It comes with a charging dock for the headset, a 45-watt USB-C power adapter, a controller charging cable, a charging cable for the headset if you didn't want to use the dock, I guess, 2 stylus tips, 2 partial light blockers, a left and a right, a cable clip, some protective cover, a cleaning cloth, and a couple of wrist straps. Like, okay, what am I really getting here? Why is this thing so damned expensive? I mean, is this natural expression, facial tracking stuff really that expensive? And things like that, because looking at kind of what's embedded in the hardware, it's only got it has a bunch of what they call VR MR sensors, 10 of them on there, but it's like 256 gigs of storage with 12 gigs of RAM and a Snapdragon XR2 Plus processor. Whoop-de-doo. gamers are the driving force behind VR. And I don't know any gamer who's really going to be paying $1,500 for this, because I'd much rather take that $1,500 and spend it on building myself a new computer. Because I'm going to get a lot more use out of that than I am this. Because if they have kind of somehow fixed the whole motion sickness thing and the uncomfortable headset you're wearing for a prolonged amount of time, cool. But I can only wear that stuff for an hour at most nowadays, maybe 2. But at some point I'm just like, I hate having this thing on my head. I hate having this thing on my face. Get it away from me. I'm much more, in my opinion, I'm much more interested in AR technology, like through HoloLens glasses. Apple's coming out with theirs. Google did Google Glass a few years. It kind of got, in between a couple places it shouldn't have been. And, it was, I don't know, it might be a little too early for VR, AR stuff, in my opinion, AR stuff, especially because people don't know what to do. They're losing their mind about it. I mean, how many new legislations was coming out with this technology where people are afraid that their privacy was being invaded and things like that because of this technology. So who is this device for? That's what Mark Zuckerberg has to say to me, is who is this device for? Because VR is for gamers right now. And if you're trying to say this is for your working class or workforce, I don't know any company in their right mind is going to spend $1,500 on a headset for their dozen members of their team so they can meet in Meta or meet in AR or whatever. Just doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. It seems like a waste, and it's just going to cause more it's going to cause Mark to lose more money. I think he's going a little nutso on this, but that's just my opinion. He's either got a grand vision that I just can't see and a bunch of people can't see, but I think more than likely I'm going with Nick's suggestion. They're already in waist deep. You might as well go all the way up to the neck, right? In this all in metaverse thing. So they dipped a pinky toe in, they lost a little bit of money. They were up to their balls, and now they're just freaking almost to their neck, Gotta just get it all the way. Before long, they're going to be drowning.
Yeah. The commercials for this thing when it releases, I've got to see these things. I mean, I can see, as far as the business aspect outside of the gaming industry, I can see a few things. Like, I work in architecture, so I could see trying to present ideals of design through the VR, so you can model things in VR, and then somebody could virtually walk through it. But that's only if they get rid of all the problems of VR. They got to get rid of the weight problem. They got to get rid of the motion sickness problem still, because you don't want to give your clients something that's going to make them throw up. So, but I mean, if they get rid of that, it's
Your design
an
made
ideal.
them sick, Shane.
Exactly. But it's okay. I put a virtual bathroom in there. But
It was a
Instead, they
merry-go-round and it spun too fast.
Instead, they're puking in the virtual bathroom, but really they're puking in his lap, in the conference room. But I mean, that's still a problem, right? I mean, are you really going to buy multiple of these so you can show people? Or is it like, you're going to have to be watching a PowerPoint while they're watching the monitor so you can just tell them what they're seeing without you being able to be like, and over here we got the triple pane glass, and over here we've got the nice marble bathrooms, Instead, you need multiple, and that to me seems like a waste of money.
Yeah, and they make
you're
software
exactly right.
nowadays where you can model houses and do a virtual tour through them, right?
Yes.
You can go
Revit program.
on. Yeah, you can go on and look at like new houses and development and stuff and take a virtual tour, which you're actually, it's not even built, but it's all 3D and stuff, but how it's going to look, and you can walk right through it. So, yeah,
the Revit program is used in architecture quite a bit. And what it does is it 3D renders interior, exterior. I did an entire golf course with Clubhouse. I did a virtual, basically a short film that ran you through there. You could control the speed, you could look left, you could look right. And, you don't need to put on a headset for that. Now, granted, you get more of an idea when it feels like you're in the building, but is it worth that price? No, it's not.
Here's a question. Do you think it would help you sell that building more than just showing them a virtual tour on their computer?
I think it would increase your chances if you have a great design, but I don't think it increases your chances enough for that price to the value to odds ratio. I don't think it's there. Now, if that was a $700 headset with quality and it got rid of all that stuff, it would be a better option. But even then, it would only be used for really high dollar things, because if you're doing a commercial building, not too often are you going to be like, oh my God, the inside of the store has to look amazing. It doesn't happen.
It's for the client who gets the golden toilets, right?
Exactly. Yeah, I can't crap on brass. I got to crap on gold. So, I mean, that's visual representations is about the only way outside of the gaming universe that the VR is worth anything. And I enjoy VR. I mean, Super Hot VR is just a blast. But that's the only one of the few that I own that don't make me want to throw up. So you got to get around those aspects. You got to figure out what your marketing is. And like you said, Pat, it's a game system. Gamers push these VR systems. I mean, how many videos do you look online that of VR that aren't somebody playing a horror game or something? No, all right. Now here we got a PowerPoint of how many dogs pissed on that hydrant. You just don't get that.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sold on this technology. And unfortunately, I kind of thought maybe Mark Zuckerberg and them would be releasing the next version of the Pro that's going to be like reasonably priced. So I didn't buy I don't own a Quest 2. I don't own a PSVR because I was like, well, let's see what the Pro is going to be like. Well, now they've raised the price on everything. Instead of it being like a $299 and a $399 headset, now they're a $399 and a $499 headset. So, and I really am not buying the Quest 2 for $400. They can kiss my ass for that one. I'm not buying it. You're not jacking the price up by $100, and telling me that it's worth it, because it's not. And I'm not. I am damn sure not paying $1,500 for this thing. They can keep it at that price. He can David Carradine himself with it for all I care at this point with it. So
too soon.
That's about the only other thing it's good for, right? It's for good. It's for gay. What's the old song? The internet is for porn. Well, the metaverse is for porn. That's what's going to end up happening. It's going to become the debauchery capital of the internet. We're going to go over to the metaverse, guys, and catch that new porn flick in VR.
Yeah. Might as well just Facebook teaming up with Pornhub, because that's about all you're going to get out of it.
That's going to be their new market. It's going to be the Meta Pro Pornhub edition.
Yep. The $1,500 rub and tug unit.
All right. I don't know who's going to buy this. I don't have any friends I think are going to drop $1,500 on this, but let us know what you guys think. Nick, Shane, you guys got any parting words for Mr. Zuckerberg or the Metaverse Pro before the Meta Quest Pro before we log out?
All I have to say to Mark is cut your losses and get out of the metaverse. I think you've been in there too long.
Yep. It's cutting the circulation off.
All right. Well, let us know what you guys think. Are you going to spend $1,500 on this? I'd like to know who's going to buy one of these for $1,500, and what's your sole purpose on buying one of these? Are you trying to buy it for gaming? Do you think it's going to give you some type of cutting edge office technology? Let us know if you're going to buy one, because I'm not going to buy one. Not for $1,500. I won't. I don't even think I'd buy it for half price of that, because at this cost point, I can buy myself a PS5 and an Xbox Series X and a Switch, and a Quest 2. I'd be right at about $1,500. So I can get all that for $1,500, or I get a MetaQuest Pro. So let us know what you guys think. Are you going to buy this? Who would buy this? Who do you think is going to buy this if you're not going to buy this? So let us know down in the comments. And if you made it to the end of this rant, let us, you might as well subscribe if you're not. Make sure you like the video too. You made it to the end of the rant. You listen to three grown or somewhat grown men bitch and complain about $1,500 piece technology, So, and I guess we hope you enjoyed this episode, and we hope to catch you in the next one.
See ya.